How's it, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. This is a constant pushback from the fluffs and other science deniers that science is a religion. So I decided to make my own video. As you can see from the title, I actually stole this off Logick's Hello, my name is Kent Hovind, number 2. And I will put the timestamp where you can go and see his explanation also. But the reason I decided to do this was because I was a deeply religious, practicing Hindu. So all the points I'm going to mention here, I have done for myself as part of a religion. In fact, part of 2 religions. But then I do none of these things now that I am trying to grasp scientific concepts. Point 1. Believe in something sacred, example, gods or other supernatural beings. Okay, so right off the bat, we can say that some religions don't have a god or gods. For example, the Buddhists have a person, and they don't worship the person. They worship the lessons that that person tried to impart. So they don't have a god, but it is a religion because they have certain tenets and values that they follow religiously. But for most religions, example, Christianity, there's, God the Father and God the Son and the Holy Spirit. In Hinduism, there's Krishna, Rama, Hanuman, Vishnu, Shiva, Saraswati. It just goes on and on, right? So, yes, you have to believe in something sacred. And all these deities and entities I've mentioned are considered extremely sacred in their respective religions. Point 2, a distinction between sacred and profane objects. So the reason Logicked made this list was because Kent Hovind was insisting that evolution is also a religion, the same as Christianity. So a distinction between sacred and profane objects does not happen in science. That's something that happens in religions. For example, in Hinduism, the Shiva Lingam stone, it's an actual crystal that the Indians have taken and made sacred. Or the elephant, that is also, or the cow, it's also considered sacred. Most Indians in India, especially, you'll find that they won't eat beef. That's a sacred object as part of their religion. But in science, there is no such thing as sacredness or sacredity, whichever word is preferred in this context. Because if you see something in science and you think that that thing has holes in the explanations, you can actually go and repeat those experiments and try to, explain those holes away. Any scientific consensus or theory or any of those things, they are open to falsification, but religion is not. Point 3, ritual acts focused on sacred objects. There are no ritual acts in science. Professors are not getting together and singing praise and worship to their, telescopes or, satellites or whatever it is. But Christians get together in church and they create their own euphoria, right? Been there, done that. I know what it feels like. Now, in the moment, it does feel real. And as for Hinduism, there are many rituals spread across the year. And I probably did about 90% of them while I was a Hindu. So in science, there are no ritual acts. Maybe if you want to say, repeatable, they have to repeat the experiments over and over and over, and that becomes ritualistic, but it's not the same as the way the Christians or the Hindus do it. Point 4, a moral code believed to have a sacred or supernatural basis. And Christianity loves to dump this on us. Oh, without the Christian God, where does your morality come from, atheist? Well, my morality comes from me wanting to be a good person to all the people around me and beyond. It is an evolutionary trait to be good to your neighbors and not kill them out one shot so the species can survive, so we can all have prosperity. But Christians reject this outright. They feel that we just cannot be good people without a God, holding us to it. But honestly, if you look at the Christian religion, if there was a God really imparting its morality on them, they wouldn't do half that they do. Okay, so when it comes to science, if you really want to impose the moral code onto science, then you have to do it via the actual scientific method, right? But in religion, there are no steps like we have in the scientific method to actually gauge what the apologists are saying against reality. There are no experiments. We must just take their word for it that God's morality is written on our hearts or weaved into the fabric of the universe and Romans 1:20. No, that is not how that works. Point 5. Characteristically religious feelings or sense of mystery, sense of guilt, adoration, which tends to be aroused in the presence of sacred objects and during practice of rituals. I have felt these religious feelings of awe and a sense of mystery. I have not felt a sense of guilt, though. The thing that I did feel guilty of is that God just wouldn't reveal himself to me. He plays this game of hide and seek. And even though I had the feelings, I always felt that I just didn't have God. Now, in science, you don't have to worry about a sense of guilt unless you are trying to jippo the scientific method and prove your stupid creationism story or whatever, where you contaminate the samples and you don't use the right radiometric dating and stuff like that. That's when you probably will feel the sense of guilt. Adoration, you can adore the universe, certainly, but not in the sense where you think it's going to come and save you like any minute now. So these things do not apply to science as they do to religion. Point 6. Prayer and other forms of communication with the supernatural. This is a thing that's definitely not part of science and the scientific method. Scientists aren't wasting their time praying about things. They are actually out there observing, experimenting, and finding the results that can manifest itself in our daily lives. Point 7. A worldview or general picture of the world as a whole and the place of the individual therein. This picture contains some specifications of an overall purpose or point of the world as an indication of how the person fits into it. Now, I don't have a full grasp on this worldview stuff. What I do know is that Christianity is a worldview, but atheism isn't, because atheism is just the rejection of the claim of a god or gods, right? As an example, a lot of Christians reject evolution because they think the earth is 6,000 years old. So there's a lot of evidence for evolution. But still, evolution is not a religion. It's a scientific theory that has an overwhelming preponderance of evidence. And evolution isn't a worldview also. I don't think so. And honestly, I think that, saying, oh, where does your meaning and purpose come from, is meaningless, because all of our experiences are individual. They are idiosyncratic to us. So saying that your purpose is handed down to you from a God, but then you live your life as if no God has given you any purpose or meaning, then you start to think, but wait a minute, it's my life, it's my journey, and nobody imposes this upon us. It is derived from experience. Point 8. A more or less total organization of one's life based on the worldviews. Okay, for this one, I think we have a little bit of a leeway, because let's say a scientist has discovered something out of the ordinary. So they might clear their schedule and organize their lives around this research, but only for the time being. They don't just abandon every other scientific consensus just to work on this one. But that's what some religious folks, and I'm sorry to say, those are the ones with the loudest voices, the ones who are rejecting science, the young earth creationists, the flat earthers. They are rejecting science in favor of their beliefs. You see, the thing in science is that there are no beliefs. Science does not care about what we believe or what we feel. What it cares about is empirical evidence, evidence that stands up to the harshest of scrutinies and still shines. And none of that applies to religion. Religion has so many holes that it is incredibly disappointing. And Logick's last point, 9, a social group bound by all of the above. Now, yes, we have astronomical social groups and, globe earthers and all of these types of people. But if we are not ritualistically doing all of the above that was mentioned, points 1 to 8, then science is not a religion. We do not have priests, we do not have tenets, we do not have pillars, none of these things. And any and all of the accepted scientific theories and laws and all of that, they are open to falsification, unlike religion. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the change up. If you did, please give the video a comment, like, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell. If you might be so inclined, please support me on PayPal. If you would like to discuss any of my observations, please join us on Discord. Please, guys, stay safe, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!